Suppose from one policy, 90% people got rich and 10% people, the remaining 10% people get even worse. It means get even more poorer. Do you think that policy is efficient? Welcome to this welfare economics lecture. This is day 13 out of 100 days Indian Economic Service revision series. So I hope you are following the series. If not, after this video, you can go and watch the other 12 videos. Now, in welfare economics, where we decide that economy is just for the sake of growing or it should be fair for the masses. In Indian Economic Service examination, this is what we are concerned about in this video. You don't just understand Pareto or Rawls. You just don't just write that in the examination. You need three things. You need a logic, you need diagrams, and you need Indian examples to score top marks. Logic, diagram, and Indian examples. In today's session, we will discuss that extra edge that you will be getting. So here we'll discuss about the Pareto and the social welfare, where we'll be discussing a lot of things about Indian Economic Service perspective. Okay. If you are preparing for this examination seriously, I have designed a psychometric test for you. In that psychometric test, 55 questions will be there. Hardly it will take 10 minutes to give it. In this test, you will get A to Z about your current preparation level. So even if you are preparing for 2026 or 2027 or even beyond that, still that test will give you a mirror image. The areas where you are good, the areas of improvement, what are the areas where you need to, like gray areas where you need to work so that you can get better of that. Okay, so these are the things are there in that. Apart from that, we are going with the 100-day series, so make sure you subscribe the channel. Let's start welfare economics. Now, if you see the overview, it's very simple. Like welfare economics studies how resources allocation affects social welfare. In simple sense, welfare economics answers a fundamental question कि इकोनॉमी किस तरह एलोकेट करे रिसोर्सेज ताकि सोसाइटी का ओवरऑल वेलबींग मैक्सिमाइज हो. It means it goes beyond the concept of GDP. It goes beyond the concept of GDP, because when you see GDP is just numbers. If GDP is going up, it does not always mean that welfare is also going up. Okay, we cannot say that if GDP is going up, welfare will also go up. It means in simple sense, like for example, pollution heavy industries, GDP will grow. But what about the welfare of the people living in nearby areas? If you see A.C. Pigou, Arthur Cecil Pigou, which is popularly known as Pigovian welfare economics, they focused on two things. They focused on externalities and state intervention. So he focused on externality and state welfare. It means how much welfare the government will provide. And Wilfredo Pareto, after Pigou, talked about efficiency focus. How much efficient your welfare is. Okay. And later on, Paul Samuelson, you must have heard about his name. Nobel laureate, revealed preference theory in microeconomics. Paul Samuelson formalized SWF, social welfare function. Now, when you see the relevance of the examination, the frequently asked in descriptive questions and the policy related questions. And this is the core objective of this topic. It means achieving maximum social welfare while considering efficiency and equity, these two words. So remember, these two words are very, very important, written on the screen. So here, for example, in previous year question papers, we have seen questions like explain Pareto efficiency with limitation. And so these kind of questions were there and frequently asked, like descriptive question and analytical questions, like for example, evaluate Indian subsidy policy using social welfare economics or using welfare economics. It means subsidy with welfare. Pareto efficiency with limitations, or diagram based questions like welfare triangles, and questions like utility curves. These are high weightage area, scoring areas if you structure it properly. I always tell my students in the classroom that welfare economics is about understanding the concepts with clarity. If concepts are known to be very clear, diagrams are very easy. Making examples are very easy. Okay. So if you are struggling in answer writing, I have designed an ebook for that. I've designed an ebook, and that ebook you will find on the number given below, or you can take that number in the from the description as well. That is absolutely free, almost covering every part of answer writing: introduction, body, conclusion, command words, etc. Everything is there. So take that and see how your answer writing is affecting after reading that book. Okay. Now, core objective are two core objectives: efficiency and equity. Efficiency means maximum output. So if labor is working on a farm, maximum output he can produce. Equity means fair distribution. So if suppose there are 3 people working on farm, distribution must be fair among all. Fair means if somebody is working more hours, should get more. So that's not equally, that's fair. But the real challenge is about trade-off. Real challenge क्या होता है? Trade-off का होता है. That's the real challenge. For example, if you see, for example, we are removing subsidies. These are efficient, but it will hurt poor people. If you are providing subsidies, these are equitable. It means equity in the society, but these are inefficient because people are getting for free. Efficiency goes down. So here mainly 2 things are there. Number 1 is efficiency focused, that is Pareto efficiency, and equity focused, that is social welfare function. Okay. So here in number 1 point, that is efficiency focused, focus is no wastage. There should be no wastage, and it is silent on inequality. So Pareto efficiency is about, its focus is on no wastage of any resources, and it is silent on inequality. But equity focused, it means equity focused talks about justice, talks about redistribution in the society. Okay. So all these things are important when we discuss. We'll dig deep later on in this lecture itself. Okay. So modern policy actually combines 2. That's why I'm telling you. So modern welfare policy combines these 2. Okay. Now, if you see in terms of answer writing, your answer must combine concept, diagram, application, and policy example. Concept means here you will be writing definition. Diagram, which is compulsory diagram. Diagram should be there. Application means any real life example or incident you write. Policy example, relate always with India, relate always with subsidy. This is how you gain maximum amount of marks in this welfare economics. And don't forget to take the ebook so that you can combine this answer writing framework structure. Okay, 7880107880. This is the number where you can get this ebook absolutely free, just because you are the subscriber of Ecoholics and you are following this series. Now, Pareto efficiency and limitations. So under Pareto optimality, what it says, let's read it. No one can be made better off without making someone worse off. Some kind of a zero sum game. मतलब एक का भला होगा तो दूसरे का बुरा होना ही होना है. This is what Pareto is saying. It means no one can be made better off without making someone worse off. Like for example, 2 students, suppose for example, sharing pizza. If one gets more, the other will loses. Like for example, this. So if this is the 1, this is 2. So you can see previously it's cut into half. Now suppose for example, it goes like this, or I'll make a separate. So this is 1 person, this is 2 person. So if one gets more, other will loses. So Pareto optimal reached when no further gain is possible without hurting someone. So in order to gain more amount of pizza to 1, 2 must lose. That is efficient or efficiency criteria as well. How it is, we'll see. Allocative efficiency, P is equals to MC. Okay. Productive efficiency, P is equals to minimum AC. So here you can say this is allocation and this is productive. It means here prices are reflecting true cost and resources allocated optimally. For example, electricity pricing. So if subsidized too much, overconsumption will be there. People will never switch off AC or cooler or water pump in the agriculture sector. So if electricity pricing must be both allocative efficiency and productive efficiency, so should not be done. Now, if you talk about productivity efficiency, it means it is around lowest cost, minimum AC. That's why the word minimum is there. It means firms operate on the efficient frontier. Okay. So, if, for example, public sector undertaking. So these PSU companies, what exactly they do? PSUs versus, we can say, private firms. So you can compare SBI versus HDFC. You can yourself compare the efficiency, not the size I'm talking about, but the efficiency. So PSU will be inefficient, private firms will be more efficient. That's what we have seen everywhere in the world, not just India. But there are limitations as well. What are those limitations? Very important for your examination perspective. Okay. Now if you see that equity and distribution both are there. Pareto optimal is there, and we'll discuss about social justice. Now suppose, for example, the number one we are discussing. If one person owns everything, still Pareto optimal the situation is. It means like feudal economics, zamindari system, everything owned by one person or one type of person. So no equity is considered. That's the limitation. Does not account for equity or distribution. Now we have multiple Pareto optimal allocation possible. How? Many allocations satisfy Pareto. It means, for example, if we say income distribution can be 90:10 or 60:40. Okay. So we can say that the different combination. So multiple Pareto optimal allocation is possible. Both are Pareto optimal, these two. So if one is gaining, other is losing. Here you can see, if this 10 is going to 40, 90 will reduce to 60. The third limitation is it ignores social justice concern. Like for example, no concern for poor people, no concern for inequality. So here the perfect example is South American countries, Latin American countries. Historically, they had, or they are currently also having, high Gini coefficient. High Gini coefficient means high inequality. So if you see, subsidies on essential food items improves equity but may reduce inefficiency. How? For example, India's PDS system, public distribution system, where people get free ration or subsidized ration. Now this improves equity. It means it provides food for the poor people, but it has leakages, it has fiscal burden, it has market distortion. So when you have leakages, fiscal burden and market distortion, this is again a classic equity versus efficiency trade-off. And that's what welfare economics is concerned about. Let's see how it is compensating criteria works in welfare improvement. And so we have a limitation on YouTube, but in the classroom, the last slide that I've covered, you must cover it in detail. Okay. If you want to know the chapter of the books that you need to read, you can just text me on my WhatsApp number. Okay. That is 722-394-6092. I'll tell you the important chapters to read from H.L. Ahuja or any other book that you are following. Okay. So this is the number I'm currently erasing. Okay. I hope you have noted down. Otherwise, you can go back to it. So compensation criteria for welfare improvement. Now here if you see Kaldor-Hicks criterion, it is like developed because Pareto optimality was, or Pareto concept was too strict. When you have too strict, how can you improve the welfare? So Kaldor-Hicks criteria said that a change in desirable if gainers could in theory compensate the loser. Like carbon trading and all जो अभी चलता है, अभी मैं आपको और भी examples दूंगा. So Kaldor-Hicks says policy is good if winners, it means those who are gaining, they can compensate the losers. Okay. So winners are gaining, they will compensate to the losers. And even if they don't actually do it, but in theory that he has done. Like for example, if you are making a highway, and if you are making highway, National Highway Authority of India making a highway. Now here land acquisition will happen. It means farmers will lose land, but business people will gain profit. So from that profit, if they redistribute, if they compensate it with the loser, land acquisition में से होता है. So if gains are greater than losses, welfare is improving according to the Kaldor-Hicks. Okay, like for example, very simple, LPG subsidy. Under DBT, direct benefit transfer, under DBT, Government of India, LPG subsidy provides. Okay, it means rich people lost the subsidy under DBT, poor people got the benefit. It means winners more than losers. This is justified. But the major criticism here is that does not require actual compensation. It means no actual compensation means inequality may rise. For example, the special economic zones in India. Land acquisition protest is always there for SEZ. And I remember in Tamil Nadu for a nuclear energy producer, there was protest as well because farmers are dependent on that. Farmers were dependent and fisheries were actually affecting. So protests were there. It means that's the problem. Now let's erase this and go for Scitovsky criteria. Scitovsky paradox. Now this solves that paradox. What? It checks for reversibility. It means compensation must work both ways. It means Scitovsky says that it ensures reverse charges should not also be welfare improving. It means it avoids contradictory conclusions. For example, whenever you are reading any content on welfare economics, it's very important that you understand that welfare is talking about compensating. It means you can exploit, like for example, US, big economies like developed economies, they exploited environment. Now when environment concerns are there, it is very difficult for developing countries to keep their development. And so Scitovsky criterion talks about reverse change should not also be welfare improving. So that we have to check. So always use gains and the losses in triangles. Okay, demand supply diagram. And here you can say you always make a welfare triangles. Okay, how consumer surplus is gaining, how producer surplus is losing. So this is how deadweight loss, etc. So welfare triangle and all you have to always maintain. LPG subsidy reforms, I told you, well, winners versus loser analysis. So these things will give you extra marks in the examination. Now we come to social welfare function. Okay, this is an important part. Utilitarianism or utilitarian. It means maximize total utility, ignores distribution. What does it mean? Maximize total utility. It means you get maximum satisfaction. But what's the problem? It ignores distribution. Like for example, GDP maximization policy. So if I am exploiting the air quality nearby Delhi NCR, Delhi's GDP is going up, but what about the distribution? What about the climate? And that's the problem. Like rupees 100 for rich is not same as rupees 100 for poor. Like the marginal utility of money is different for you, different for me, and different for like industrialist. So it ignores diminishing marginal utility. That's the problem with this, the first one. Rawlsian SWF, social welfare function. It maximizes utility of the least advantaged. It means welfare of the poorest. In India, Antyodaya Anna Yojana, poorest of the poor. So this is called Maxi-Min principle. Okay, and this is based on John Rawls principle. Okay. It means you provide the support to the poorest of the poor. Bergson-Samuelson approach. Now this approach, very in simple sense, ranks alternative social states using individual utility. So all the options in the society, which one you can take, but using individual utility, not social as per se. Okay, like for example, it combines individual utility and it provides society ranks different outcomes for different things. Like people love garden in their society. Okay, individuals love to walk there. So it about, we can say, a preference ranking. ठीक है. Like for example, in Rawlsian we have Manrega, targeting the poorest. In Rawlsian we have Ayushman Bharat. But here in Bergson, modern development happening on the basis of that. Okay. So here you can say public health. Always link efficiency with Pareto, equity with SWF, and plus diagram. You'll always get full marks. So Pareto is efficiency, SWF is equity. Okay. Now the last slide, very important. Answering previous year IES question. How to do that? Number one, definition and objective of welfare economics. So you talk about allocation, you talk about social welfare. Then it comes to explain the concept. So suppose for example Pareto efficiency. So show how efficient allocation can be done. Welfare triangle you make. So this is how you have to show. Then compensation criteria for policy evaluation. It means how you will compensate. So some industry is polluting. How it will compensate to clean the river water nearby. So Kaldor-Hicks and Scitovsky. So two people must be mentioned here. It will show depth in your answer. If you see step number 4 in your answer, social welfare function. So you talk about utilitarian, Rawlsian comparison, like utilitarian focus on total welfare, Rawlsian focus on poor welfare. Utilitarian ignores inequality. Rawlsian may reduce efficiency. Okay, so these are the things important. Then you write Indian example, subsidy, food subsidy, PDS, MSP, etc. Manrega for employment, poorest of the poor. Public health, Ayushman Bharat, Jan Arogya Yojana. Education policy, NEP and all. Previous to that, enrollment scheme was there. And then you conclude with policy implication or recommended reform. Like for example, you can write like that an optimal policy always must balance Pareto, equity of a Rawlsian approach to ensure sustainable and inclusive growth of the Indian economy or in the Indian economy. So this is how you make diagram, comparison table, Indian example. This is high scoring answer. You will always get extra marks for that. Okay. So make sure you follow this series. This is the end of the day 13 of Indian Economic Service of 100 days revision series. Make sure you collect your ebook from the number given below. And you give your psychometric test to understand your current level of preparation. Okay. So we'll see you in the next video. Till then, don't forget to subscribe. See you. Thank you.